Does anyone know how to work this TV? Usually Parth knows what to do. But I don't know what to do. Do you know Divyanshu? It's usually... Oh, it's done it. Wow, very good. What did you do?
Just turned it on.
Just hit power. Power, it's simple as that, huh? Okay. Wow, that's incredible. I didn't even know where this thing was. Where did you get this? Very good. So, we made it. So let's do our Mangala Charana, and then we'll begin. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Stapitang Yena Bhutale Svayang Rupa Kadamayang Dadati Swapadantikang Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitang Savadutang Parijana Sahitang Krishna Chaitanya Devang Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhani Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. First of all, I want to offer my respectful obeisances unto the gurus in my life, both Shiksha and Diksha. Without their mercy and blessings in my life, I would have nothing at all to offer, and I would have absolutely no realization, which is almost the case, but they've at least given me something, and I feel very fortunate to receive their mercy to some degree. I want to offer my obeisances, my sincerest, humblest obeisances to our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, from which our gurus have received this incredible knowledge and themselves have been empowered and enlightened in this beautiful wisdom coming from the Lord Himself. And then finally I want to offer my obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, the spiritual devotees and practitioners for the Lord. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhudevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, my obeisances to you. Where did Srikant go?
In the washroom.
Okay. And then, okay, no problem. And then Parth is coming soon. And then maybe my wife will come. Abhiram was bad last night though, so no promises.
He was crying a lot.
Yes. Pain in the tush. But no problem, it's good. So first, what did we do? We sang Nitai Padakamala. We didn't do it that good because I don't know a two-beat on the mridanga, and Divyanshu doesn't know a two-beat on the kartal. So it was a mess actually. Shrikant, you have to go right now?
Yeah,
You're taking an Uber?
I'm taking an Uber to one of my friends' home.
Oh.
And that friend will go to Ithaca.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, no problem. Well, it was nice having you. Thanks for staying with us.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, all right, very good. So, the lotus feet of Nitai are as cooling as millions of moons. Nitai Parakamla Koti Chandra Shushitala Jaichaya Jagat Judai. Their shade gives solace to the entire universe. Nitai is the representative preacher of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who's coming, and we actually get Nityananda Shakti or Nitai Shakti through the devotees who are spreading the Namahata all over. But this is the personality who first did it here when the Lord appeared here, and he's showing us what to do and giving his mercy still. So we take shelter of such a Nityananda and those devotees under his Shakti, like Srila Prabhupada and our whole Gaudiya Guru Varga. Without a personality, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, without a personality such as Nitai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. Oh brother, it is not possible to attain Radha and Krishna. Dridha Kori Daro Nitar Paya. So firmly take hold of his lotus feet. So we should take hold of Nityananda's feet. We worship him here every day. Even when you do the archana, you have the good fortune of being able to touch his feet, which is very much recommended. So, yes. And Se sambandha nahi jara, if someone does not establish a relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, Britha Janma Gelotara, it says his human birth is wasted. So if in this life we don't establish a relationship with the incarnation of the Lord, who is trying to actively distribute mercy to the fallen conditioned souls, which is us, meaning if we don't form a relationship with Guru and the Vaishnavas who are actively the Lord's mercy, whole human birth, Brita Janma Gelotar, it's wasted. And say Pashu Badudurachara, such an animalistic person is very wicked. Really, that person is no better than an animal. Just completely instinctually just seeking the body's sense gratification, and they'll be frustrated naturally by the processes of birth, death, disease, and old age. So, yes, but that's pretty much what they're good for, to have their life wasted and live in disappointment. It's unfortunate, but the Lord is always trying to share his mercy through the teachers and saints and sages, and those who have developed some piety, they can accept, but the most are not of that, haven't elevated to that platform yet, and so they are destined actually for animal life. They must go down and suffer because of their, they're already living animal lives actually, just called Dvipada Pashu, or like two-legged animals. Most people, unfortunately, the sentiments which drive them are no more than the animals: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and those characteristics. And even defending is like, okay, I got to put in the work and my job and secure money and secure a house and all these material responsibilities. These are all animal things. Just like animals, like, yes, I have to get my nest. I have to, do all these things. So real spiritual life is beyond that. So he's saying such an animalistic person is very wicked. Nitai na bolilo muke, not uttering the name of Nitai with his lips, majilo sangsara suke. He drowns himself in the so-called happiness of the material world. So the so-called enjoyments of this world we're being drowned in its utter foolishness, actually. So vidya kule ki kodibe tada. What then can his education and pedigree do for him? Nothing. He says, ahankare matahaya, maddened by false pride, Nitai pada pasariya, and forgetting Nitai's lotus feet. Asatyare satya kodi mani. He considers satya asatyare. He's considering illusion to be truth. This is unfortunate. And people are wandering in this world, prioritizing things that are not to be prioritized, that are asat, that are temporary and not really saturated in the full truth. And trust me, practically everyone, this is the case, including ourselves, in many degrees. Nitaya karuna habe. If Nitai is merciful, Vraje Radha Krishna pabe. One can attain Radha and Krishna in Vraj. Daro Nitayer Chadana Dukani. So firmly take hold of Nitai's 2 lotus feet. So the Nityananda, and through his Shakti, which are the Guru, our Guru Parampara, they can actually give us Radha and Krishna in Vraj. We never would have heard about Radha and Krishna in Vraj without them. Someone gave us a book. Nityananda Shakti came to us through us somehow. Someone gave us a book, someone introduced us to devotees, or maybe by good fortune we were able to see devotees and they talked to us and they encouraged us and they somehow pushed us forward towards spiritual life. And now, we're learning about what it means to attain Radha and Krishna. Still not even close, but we're learning about it more. We're approaching. So take hold of those lotus feet, and also take hold of the representatives. Vande, why am I messing it up? Vande Guru Shri Charanadavindam. Well, Vande Guru Shri Charanadavindam. Right, that's what it means. I offer my obeisances unto Guru, Shri Guru's Charanarvindam, his lotus feet. This is what we should do, and that's Nityananda's feet coming to us through the form of Shri Guru. And Shri Guru is, in different forms. There's the Vartma Pradashika Guru, the Guru who shows us the way. Especially in the beginning of our life, we have maybe a few Vartma Pradashika Gurus who help push us forward. There's the Diksha Guru, who also may formally initiate one. But the most prominent aspect of Guru, and all the Vartma Pradashika Guru and the Diksha Guru could and maybe should also serve as this role, as the Shiksha Guru, the one who is actively giving you instruction in your life. This is actually most important. This is the Guru that's about to be described in where we are in the Bhagavatam. No Diksha happened between Parikshit and Shukadev Goswami. It was a relationship purely of Shiksha. Because that is the actual relationship of how spiritual knowledge comes to us. It's in Shiksha. It's in the form of the pure personality transferring that knowledge to the submissive here and the inquisitive here. So, but Diksha is very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. But not completely necessary. So anyhow, last verse. Nitaya Charana Satya, the lotus feet of Nitai are eternal truth. Tahara Sevaka Nitya, and his servitors are eternally liberated. Nitai Pada Sada Karo Asha, always aspire to attain the lotus feet of Nitai. And those representing Nitai, they're eternally liberated, and they're always representing the eternal truth. They're always here to give this eternal truth of pure bhakti, of service and devotion to the Lord. And of many traditions, like Jesus, and even Muhammad. I don't know as much about him, but as far as I know, he's giving a message of serving God like that. So, Narottam Bado Duki, Narottam is very unhappy. Narottam is like an incredibly elevated devotee, but he's saying he's very unhappy. Nitai more karasuki. Oh Nitai, please make me happy. Rako Ranga Charanarapasha, keeping me close to the reddish soles of your lotus feet. So the devotee actually will feel unhappy when we're not close to the reddish soles of the lotus feet of Nityananda. He could be here. He's literally here. He came on his birthday this year in our the Murti of Nityananda. But also Nityananda's representative through the gurus, Nityananda Shakti, all Vajma Pradarshika, Diksha and Shiksha gurus. So this is how Nityananda's mercy is coming, and we should accept Nityananda's mercy. Not only accept, we should be enthusiastic, to receive Nityananda's mercy. So that's what we sang today. It's a little heavy, but it's Narottam Das Thakur is giving us great mercy.
See, most of the songs or poems are written by Narottam Das.
What's that?
Like many of the poems are written by Narottam Das.
Yes, he's actually he's Gauranga Mahaprabhu is, like next Shakti in this world. After Gauranga Mahaprabhu left, that came through Narottam. He's incredible personality. If you study his life, it's incredible actually. So, let's see if we can actually hear Bhagavatam. Maybe possible, it may be not. So what has happened up to this point? Right now, Maharaj Parikit is glorifying Shukadeva Goswami. The Bhagavatam is just about to begin. Shukadeva Goswami just arrived. He's like a moon amongst the stars, amongst all the other sages, and everybody's eager to hear from him. And now, he was glorified. Remember, I was saying, simply by remembering you, our house has become instantly sanctified. This is the power of a pure devotee, actually. Just by remembering them, your house will become sanctified. What's to speak of seeing them? If you get to see a pure devotee, touching them, if you get to serve them and touch them, maybe massage, maybe even just hold their hand, help them up the stairs, something like that. Washing their feet and offering them a seat in your home. How fortunate you are. And he's saying, just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic. So if you're having trouble with sins and purifying your life and practices, what is the natural remedy? What do you think, Mukunda?
Associate.
Yes. It's associate with such a saintly person. This is how your sins will be cleansed, actually. You cannot do it on your own strength. You can try, okay, I'm going to stop doing this, but the impressions, the bombardment of material enjoyment is so strong that if you try on your own, you'll fail. Eventually it'll pull you back into the material world. Yes, enjoy more. Enjoy this. Take this Netflix series. Now take this anime series. Now take all these things. And, these are all for enjoyment, actually. All these things are for enjoyment. But actually, our activities should be engaged in how could we be of service to the Lord. Then we'll actually be happy. But if we get engaged in how we can enjoy it, we will not enjoy, nor, the whole human life can be wasted like this. And most, unfortunately, are wasting the life. But Maharaj Parikit is not wasting his life anymore. Even though he said, I was too absorbed in family life, but by the Lord's great mercy, now I'm been naturally detached. And now he's concerned because he's going to die, and he's, what should I do? What is good for me? What is the duty for all persons in all times, and what is especially the duty of one who's about to die? And then today, if we get to it, he'll add more questions. And so that's why today's subject matter, what are the real questions of life? What should we really be asking? Because we know in Bhagavad Gita, right? How do you approach a saintly person with knowledge? 3 things. Humility, pranipatena. Submissively is humility, same thing.
Asking questions.
Pariprashna, asking questions, and then seva, rendering service. This is the 3 progressions. Approaching humility with humility, approaching submissively, then asking them questions in that mood, and then rendering them service. And then this is the perfection of how spiritual knowledge will be transferred to you. This is Krishna's 434 of Bhagavad Gita. This is his system, and it's a very good system. It's the Vedic system. Krishna was not speaking out of alignment. What's always been there. So now Maharaj Parikit is doing this. And so naturally, when the pariprashna, the questions come, you would see what type of questions he asks. There's intelligent questions, and everyone says there's no stupid questions. There are totally stupid questions. There's so many questions that are like, why are you asking about this? You have so much. Even, unfortunately, people come here and depending on their level of advancement or adhikar, what do they want from the devotees in the spiritual process? Sometimes they're asking, oh, Prabhuji, how can I have this? How can my wife and I enjoy the material world like this, and this, and this? And you're just like, why are you asking me this question? How is this helpful for you? How is this helpful for anyone? Like this. But in the beginning, we may not be able to ask a proper question. But over time, hopefully, by the mercy of the Lord, we can get sufficient intelligence. But if by reading Bhagavatam, we could see the real questions. What are the duties for all persons at all times, in all circumstances? What should the people do? Especially one who's about to die. That's the whole foundation of the Bhagavatam. First question. And then he'll add a few more right here. Api me Bhagavan Prita. You guys can see? Krishna Pandu Sutta Priyaha. Paitrashvaseya Prityarthang. Tad Gotrasyata Bandava. Api. Definitely. Me or may. Unto me. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Prita, pleased. Krishna, the Lord. Pandu Sutta, the sons of King Pandu. Priya, dear. Paitra, in relation with the father. Swaseya, the sons of the sister. Priti, satisfaction. Artham, in the matter of tat, there. Gotrasya, the descendant. Atta, accepted. Bandava, as a friend. Translation. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives, just to please his great cousins and brothers. Purport. A pure and exclusive devotee of the Lord serves his family interest more dexterously than others who are attached to illusory family affairs. With more like a skill, dexterity. Generally, people are attached to family matters, and the whole economic impetus of human society is moving under the influence of family affection. Such deluded persons have no information that one can render better service to the family by becoming a devotee of the Lord. Isn't that interesting? We all do so much, right? A lot of our considerations we're talking about, or even some worries are there. What will my families think like this, right? But actually, what's Prabhupada saying? I've been trying to also tell you some of these things. But don't worry about all these family matters. Become a devotee of the Lord. All these other considerations will be taken care of naturally just by you becoming a devotee. So we have worries for our relatives. We have worries. What will happen to my children? What will happen to my relatives? So how will I maintain these relationships properly? You don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about becoming a devotee of the Lord. And by the potency of becoming a devotee of the Lord, He will take care of everything. And actually your whole family will get purified. It's an amazing process. Look at Prahlad Maharaj. He was promised by Nrsimha. Due to his level of advancement, how many generations got purified by Prahlad Maharaj? 21, yes. Do you even know, and what does the Shastra say for even a neophyte devotee? How many generations will get liberated? 7 generations. So your parents are 1 generation away from you. You don't have to worry. Your kids are 1 generation away from you. You don't have to worry. So take to the real, what's really in their best interest. It's not necessarily going and doing what they want you to do. Because they want to also engage you in this illusory family affairs. But become a devotee and really benefit them. Just see, maybe you guys see my parents. My parents are, they're kind, nice people. But, a lot of these finer sentiments of Vedic culture, that's just not even close to where they're coming from. It's not even close to where I came from. But just by me taking to this process, and I don't really I'm not there for all the birthday parties. I'm not there for all the, the things they, might prioritize most in their life. But just see, every time they come here, I'm witnessing, but you guys also are witnessing. Look at how they enjoy when they come, but 2, look at all the blessed activities they get to engage in. That would never happen for them unless in the family somehow or other, the devotion has, like I saw my mother with Abhiram, and she is literally chanting Hare Krishna to him frantically so he can go back to sleep. And I said, oh my God. This would have never happened. It's only happened because of the devotional life. How else would such a thing ever happen in her life? It's impossible. So if you really want to benefit your family members, you become a devotee. The Lord gives special protection to the family members and descendants of a devotee, even though such members are themselves non-devotees. So see, don't worry. Oh my God, what will happen to them? You don't have to worry about what will happen to them. You just become a devotee and the Lord will give special protection to them. And thus the devotee has no need to bother about his family members, even if one leaves such family members aside to discharge devotional service. Yes, this might be what's best. Maharaj Yudhishthira and his brothers were the sons of Kunti, the paternal aunt of Lord Krishna, and Maharaj Parikshit admits the patronage of Lord Krishna because of his being the only grandson of the great Pandavas. So he's actually admitting how the Lord has, he accepted him as one of his relatives. Because, the Pandavas are the cousins, and he's the remnant of that dynasty. You could say second cousin or something like that of Krishna. So he's accepted him. So just to please his great cousins and brothers. So that was the purpose of Maharaj Parikshit's life, is to serve the other devotees of Krishna in his lineage. So what else does he say here? Anyata te vyakta gate darshanang na kathang nirnam nitarang mriyamananam Sangsidasya vaniyasaha. Okay, anyatha. Otherwise, te, your, avyakta gate, of one whose movements are invisible. Darshanam, meeting, naha, for us, katham, how, nirnam, of the people, nitaram, specifically, mriyamananam, of those who are about to die, sangsidhasya, of one who is all perfect, vaniyasa, voluntary appearance. Otherwise, translation, otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? Purport. The great sage Shukadeva Goswami was certainly inspired by Lord Krishna to appear voluntarily before Maharaj Parikshit, the great devotee of the Lord, just to give him the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the nucleus of the devotional service of the Lord by the mercy of the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is the manifested representative of the Lord to help one achieve ultimate success. One who is not authorized by the Lord cannot become a spiritual master. So it's not anyone, you can't just fill out the application and become a guru or something. I'm applying for being a guru. Now, you can apply with the Lord, but unless the Lord sufficiently blesses you, you cannot act. Even if, and we see sometimes, unfortunately, in our spiritual tradition and in other spiritual traditions, sometimes personalities, they hold the post of guru, but due to not really having a level of insincerity in some way or another, there's very heavy people sometimes who have a lot of heavy insincerities. The Lord cannot, He does not empower them to serve that function, and what happens? They eventually fall down, and they eventually fall into some scandal or some nonsense activity, and then their whole guru operation falls apart. So this is this happens unfortunately a lot to so-called gurus. To take the post of a guru is a great privilege as a service to the Lord, but if you don't do it sincerely and purely, what will happen is eventually you'll fall down, and it'll be it's a great danger. It's a huge danger if you take this to such a position insincerely. Even if you take to helping guide other devotees, like say I'm trying to do here, if I do anything very insincere, I've experienced this. Even if I do something a little insincere, great ramifications are always there, and I can destroy the faith of others, or something like that, or I can not to maybe to completely destroy, but I can really discourage people away from spiritual life due to my own hypocrisy. So it's very important. It's very important we try to hear as much as we can from our gurus and shine their example to the best of our ability. Where no one's expecting everyone to be perfect right away, but to the degree that you're acting as a guru or a guide for others, you have to rise to the occasion. And meaning you also have to rise to the occasion of being a proper student, because that's the only way it comes. All the best gurus are the best students of their guru. That's what makes one the best guru. So we have to like that. But it's empowerment by the Lord. So Srila Shukadeva Goswami is an authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by the Lord to appear before Maharaj Parikit and instruct him in the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the ultimate success of going back to Godhead if he is favored by the Lord's sending his true representative. So this is how you're really favored. This is for the good fortune. We're always praying for good fortune. Oh, if just this monetary situation happens, job situation happens, relative situation happens, this, that, and the other. But what's real good fortune? Part? Yes, yes. But, and especially to be in association of his true representative, of a pure devotee. That's real good fortune. Otherwise, everything else is temporary. And it's actually misfortune because it intoxicates us, thinking that, oh yes, I'm in good fortune. I have good wealth. I have good family. I have good, all these temporary arrangements. But it's actually a great misfortune. So as soon as a true representative of the Lord is met by a devotee of the devotee is assured a guarantee for going back to Godhead just after leaving the present body. Isn't that amazing? So all you have to do is meet a true representative of the Lord, and that the devotee is assured a guarantee for going back to Godhead just after leaving the present body. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. The Lord is seated in the heart of all living beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. So if a devotee is sincere, if you're sincere and you meet a pure representative of the Lord, you're guaranteed success. You're guaranteed freedom. But if we're insincere and we want all these material things instead, and when we meet the pure devotee or the devotees and we're not ripe, then unfortunately Krishna will let us ripen again more in another lifetime. And so then we'll have to keep coming back. So, like that. The Lord is seated in the heart of all living beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. As soon as the Lord finds that a particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. So this is how you meet a pure devotee. You just have to be eager. You just have to have some greed. Actually it's said in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there's a verse, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati Kriyatam Api Yadi what is it? Kriyatam Yadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Lalyam Api Mulyang Ekalang Sukriter Janma Koti Sukriter Na Labhyate. And what that means is that when you find someone who has Krishna Bhakti Ras and they're totally absorbed in consciousness of the nectarian sentiments of devotion to Krishna, Kriyatam, you should immediately obtain this thing. You should immediately try to purchase this thing. Take action. Kriyatam, Yadi, Kutopi, if it's available, Labhyate, anywhere you should obtain that. So and how do you obtain it? Tatra, there in this regard, loyam, greed. Api, certainly, mulyang ekalam is the price, exclusive, the exclusive price. It's the only price. The only price is you just have to have greed for this thing. And so what will you do? You'll take action. Like, right, we're having some wonderful devotees come, we're having festivals and things like that. So there'll be nice activities present. So the wise, if you guys are here or you can find your way to be here, the wise, they'll become greedy for this and they'll say, yes, I must find my way into this association. I must find my way so that I can collect this nectar, that I can, be here. And so what will they do? They'll obtain it this way. But unfortunately, Janma Koti, millions of births, Sukriter, of pious activity, doing good, giving in charity, doing all kinds of pious activities, Na Labhyate. No, you will not obtain it. You'll never get it that way. So, even in our service, we should understand, doing pious activities for the devotees, maybe serving financially and things like that, that's actually not enough. It's good, it'll help you, but it's not enough. What is the only price? I just said it. And Prabhupada just said it. Yes, Prabhupada said being very eager, being greedy to go back to Godhead and to get that association. This is simple, actually. Just like Maharaj Parke, everyone became very greedy when Shukadev Goswami, oh my gosh, look, let me hear now. Maharaj Parke is supplicating before him and asking him all kinds of questions. This is what needs to be done. So the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. So when we're eager to attain the Lord, to go back to Godhead, then the Lord he'll reciprocate. Oh yes, good. That's what he wants. But if we're eager for material endeavors and material things, then because the Lord loves us, he has to only maybe give us some in small doses, because he doesn't want to hurt us too badly by getting us intoxicated by these things. The conclusion is that to get the assistance and help of a bona fide spiritual master means to receive the direct help of the Lord himself. So that's how you know if you're getting the Lord's help and he's blessing you in your life. Do you have a bona fide guru in your life? Then you're in good standing. If not, then you must become eager to receive that mercy, to attain the Lord, to have communion of the Lord. And this is how you know that you've received the Lord's mercy. You get the direct help of the Lord himself through his representative. And remember, there's 3 tiers. What are the 3 tiers of guru? Oh, we just said beginning. Right? You know, Pai. Yes, Vartma Pradarshika, which is those who are showing the path. Like, even all of the devotees here can act as Vartma Pradarshika to some degree or another. Diksha is only a special class of devotees will give Diksha. A special class of spiritual master will give Diksha. And then the Shiksha, which is the most important function of Guru, is the one who's giving practical instructions to help guide one. So this is how you know if you've received the direct help of the Lord himself. So, it's simple actually. This is what the devotee should be eager for. If you really want good fortune in your life, this is what you should be eager for. We have so many considerations, but, at least last year, last year, was that the mood and understanding of what was really going to benefit your life? You could be honest. What do you think? Tanu and Divyanshu. Was that your priority last year? I have to meet a pure devotee. No. We had so many other priorities, right? But as we mature in devotional life, what should become the priority? Yeah, that should be the only priority, actually. How can I get the guidance and the guidance and mercy of a pure devotee? Because this is how can I get the Lord's mercy? That's what it means. Not that, oh, please, just make this... You'll never have all your circumstances how you want in the material world. Don't you know? You should know by now. It'll never be this material world, because it's temporary, it never stays comfortable. It's always shifting, and next problem is always arising. And maybe a little relief from a problem comes also. But still, it's shifting. We should not... Krishna calls this world dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It's miserable and temporary. So any type of material, there is no material solution to all the material problems. The only solution is the spiritual solution, and through receiving the mercy of a pure devotee. So naturally, the intelligent, this is what they will seek for. Yes? It makes sense? Divyanshu says yes. What do you say, Tanu? You say, Mukunda? Yes. This is all that really needs to be, And the whole life of a devotee should be, yes, you have to do your duties to stay alive, but what should you do with your life? The status of being alive. How can I get in the association of pure devotees? How can I serve pure devotees? How can I work under the guidance of pure devotees? Only consideration. And then from there you're free. What a relief. When you try to do everything independently, you're the one paying the consequences for your mistakes. But when you do everything under the guidance and trust of the Lord and under the surrender of the Lord, you accept everything like the Lord is going to take care. And he does every time. You see it. It's such a freeing aspect of life where I no longer have to take responsibility for all these things. Yes, you have to take responsibility for your service. It's not like, yes, Guru, he'll do everything. I'm not doing anything anymore. No, that's laziness and foolishness. But now, if you work sincerely in trying to fulfill the order of Sri Guru, you don't have to worry about anything. And you'll see Krishna takes care every step of the way. This is empowered, and Krishna will himself come and take care. What does he say? We're doing that verse, right? What's it start with? Do you remember? Ananyash chintayanto mam. Ananyash chintayanto mam. Ye jana paryupasate. Nitya abi yuktanam. And then it's yogakshamam vahamyaham. So you might have heard this. It's a very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. And the essence of the verse is one who's ananya, one-pointed, chintayanto mam, in consciousness towards mam is Krishna. He's speaking. He's saying unto me, but unto Krishna. Ye jana paryupasati, they who, those persons who are properly worshipping him. I'm good. This is practice for our Saturday morning class. We take the Saturday morning class with Nrsinga. Mukund, if you ever want to join on a Saturday morning, it's a nice online class. You learn so many deep things, and we're learning shlokas in the class. So I have everyone in the ashram doing most of them. I'm not engaging you guys there yet unless you really want to. But if you want to join Saturday morning, it's at 10 a.m. It's very nice. But you get to learn a lot of these Bhagavad Gita shlokas that are very essential for devotees. And then Nitya Abhiyuktanam, one who is always firmly fixed in this devotion that was mentioned previously. Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Your yoga, that which is your connection, that which is your requirements, your basic necessities, Yogakshamam, he'll protect it. Like a Kshatriya, Shamam, he'll protect it. And Vahamyaham, what you lack, he'll carry it. You've heard this, right? That Krishna, he protects what you have and he'll carry what you lack. So you never have to worry if you just surrender and you give up. Even the Prabhupada was saying about the family members in the previous thing. Even if one leaves such family members aside to discharge devotional service, don't worry. Even if you leave, sarva dharman prityaja, even if you abandon other dharmas to perform devotional service, Krishna will not punish you for that because you're properly situated. And he'll yogakshamam vahamyaham. He will protect what you have, what you need, your needs and requirements. He'll protect that. Don't worry. He knows exactly what you need, and he'll carry what you lack. He knows where you're not. You don't have the strength on your own, so he's ready to carry that. But you have to actually be sincere. You actually have to be eager for what is the actual process. The process of devotional service is not, all right, I want to serve however I want to serve. That's not devotional service. It is to some degree, but it's not really very much eager. Like even if you have a friend who is they're not so accommodating towards an acquaintance. They're not so accommodating to what maybe the whole group wants to do. They're only so much concerned with what they want to do and things like that. So you're not so as inclined to be with that friend, other than the friend who's much more thoughtful and sincere in many ways, right? So same way, Krishna is going to reciprocate with the devotee who is really eager to serve him selflessly. He'll give more precedence to that person than one who's I'll give you a little bit, on my my own thing. So how do we get guidance on this? We need to find the spiritual master. He will help us, and by serving that person, we're serving Krishna directly. And by serving his devotees, we can learn how more intimately to serve Krishna. So this eagerness to be in the association of pure devotees should arise to any devotee who's actually making an advancement, who's becoming sincere. So we'll keep going. Ata prichchami sang siddhim. Yoginang Padamangurum Purushasyeha Yat Karyang Mriyamanasya Sarvatha Ata. Therefore, Prichchami, beg to inquire, Sangsiddhim, the way of perfection, Yoginam, of the saints, Paramam, the supreme, Gurum, the spiritual master, Purushasya, of a person, Iha, in this life, Yat, whatever, Karyam, duty, Mriyamanasya, of one who is going to die, Sarvata, in every way. So I want to mention, I skipped things. The last verse, he said, though you are moving incognito to the common man, and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death. Meaning the common man is being compared to one on the verge of death. That's practically all the people, all our relatives, everyone they're just people on the verge of death. Because why? The saints and the sages are moving incognito to them, and they're paying no attention to them at all. They don't care. Like, we're going to have some retreats, and we're going to tell all of our relatives and friends, and we're going to have our Guru Maharaj up here, and we're going to say, come on, Saintly Association is here, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, I can't, it's bingo night, And they'll tell, oh, I can't, I'm going to miss my Netflix. The common people, these are, people on the verge of death. They're like, oh, no, I can't do that. My kid has a baseball practice. Oh, Jesus. Like, baseball practice is more important than meeting a saint. But why? Because they have no understanding of what's really in their best interest. They prioritize. Why? They're on the verge of death, actually. Everything they prioritize is on the verge of death, and they themselves are on the verge of death. So, that I wanted to mention that. So I'm glad Prabhupada reminded me in this purport translation. So you are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die. So he's begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, especially for one who's about to die. Remember, he asked, what is the duty for all persons in all times and all circumstances? And especially, what is the duty of one about to die? And now he's again begging you, please answer these questions. You're so qualified. Purport. Unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. What is the only price? Mukunda? We just talked about it. Here, I'll highlight it for you.
Be anxious.
Yes, you have to be anxious, eager, greed. You have to be very greedy to know about the way of perfection. Otherwise, you have no use for a spiritual master. You don't know how to properly appreciate a spiritual master. You actually don't realize the gravity of the situation. You're not able to actually properly appreciate them. All of your problems of life are here at your doorstep. And you're like, oh, please tell me how I can get my job. How can I make my family life comfortable? If you do that, it's a waste. And Prabhupada said there's necessity of approaching a spiritual master. You're better off just go on trying to enjoy the material world. You should inquire, you should be perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection. How can I perfect my life? What is my duty? What do I do? Not like, oh, well, can you help me arrange my life so much way that I can be comfortable? So many people, they're approaching spiritual life for this. No. How can I receive perfection? How can I perfectly act? All what to do. A spiritual master is not a kind of decoration for a householder. Oh, look at my guru. Look at the pictures on look at my guru. It's not a decoration for a householder. Generally, a fashionable materialist engages a so-called spiritual master without any profit. The pseudo-spiritual master flatters the so-called disciple, and thereby both the master and his ward go to hell without a doubt. So there are pseudo-spiritual masters, we should know. And such a spiritual master, they will flatter the disciple. Oh, you're doing so well, and this, that, and the other. And, because really what a spiritual master should do is chastise. spiritual masters with no, stop this immediately. And guru means heavy. He'll be heavy with you. And guru also means to eradicate one's ignorance, meaning he has to tell you when you're in ignorance. A guru is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Krishna in Uddhav Gita as Guru Karnadara, one who navigates the whole verse is Nirdeham Adyam, Sulabam Sudurlabam, Plavam Sukalpam, Guru Karnadara. Anukul Mayanukulena Nabashvataritam Puman Bhavabtim Nataret Sa'atmaha. Wow, I can't even believe I remember that. But basically that this Nirdeham, this human body, Nirdeham Adyam, which is the source of Sulabam, all good fortune, Sudurlabam, and it's very rare, why? Plavam Sukalpam, it's like a boat that's well designed, Guru Karnadara, which is meant to be navigated, Karnadara, by the ear through a guru. So the guru is the captain of your boat. Remember actually in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, you guys weren't all here for that, but there was some prominent verse in the beginning of the Bhagavatam where Shaunak Rishi said to Sutta Goswami that you're the perfect captain to navigate us through these, what is it that we should do? Remember, this is what a disciple should do. What should be done? What is my duty? What do I need to do? Not, how can I do this, and this? No. What should I do? That's the real questions of life. If you're asking, how can I do this, and this, it's you're imposing your desires on the spiritual master. Not wise. What should I do? It's simple, actually. What should I actually do? This is how you engage. So, it's not a decoration for a householder. I didn't finish the verse. So the guru is in the guiding through the ear. So, Mayanukulena. But how? Through my favorable winds, Krishna is saying. My Nabashvataritam, which are propelling this boat. And what is the favorable winds? Are the scriptures. That's how the guru navigates one, through telling you the duties highlighted in the scriptures and in Krishna's instructions. And then he said, Puman, such a person, Bhavabtim, in this material ocean of this material existence, Nataret, who does not cross it, Sa'atmaha, he is the killer of his soul. So one who doesn't use this boat, this human body in this way to be guided by a guru, he is the murderer of his own soul, Krishna says. So who's wanting to murder their soul today?
But the soul is
unkillable. Yes, it's a figure of expression. Meaning, you have the soul, everything is eternal, but because we're insincere and foolish, we're it's practically like we've killed the soul. Meaning we've put this eternal, indestructible, amazing portion of ourselves and just leaving it alone and not actually nourishing it. And we're living a false, temporary, foolish, material life. So it's a figure of speech. It's not like actually killing the soul. But that person is the killer of the soul who doesn't use the human body in this way. Krishna is saying in Uddhav Gita. So we must have spiritual guidance in our life, and we should approach a spiritual master perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection. What is the way I can achieve perfection in this life? What do I do? Not how can I do this? What do I do? Difference. You see the difference? You realize the difference. How can I do things my way? No. What should I do? Yes. Not how can I impose my desires on life? And how can you help me do that? That's not the function. That's fashionable, where you're still the controller. That's not spiritual life. You're giving up, you're relinquishing being the controller and the enjoyer. What should I do? What is best for me? You know what is best for me. You yourself have took in this process, and you've learned this from your spiritual master, and so on. What is best for me? So let's read at least one more verse. Yachchotavyam mato japyam Yat kartavyang nirbhi prabho Smartavyang bhajaniyang va Bruhi yadva viparyayam Yat, whatever. Shrotavyam, worth hearing. Atho, thereof. Japyam, chanted. Yat, what also? Kartavyam, executed. Nirbhi, by the people in general. Prabho, O Master. Smartavyam, that which is remembered. Bhajaniyam, worshipable. Va, either. Bruhi, please explain. Yadva, what it may be. Viparyayam, against the principle. He's saying, please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all of this to me. See, this is amazing, amazing questioning. This is exactly what we should do. What should I hear? What should I chant? What should I remember? How should I, and worship, how should I worship? What should I not do? Please explain all this to me. This should be the line of questioning for a sincere spiritual practitioner. Not, how can I have this? How can I have that? How can this arrangement be made? No. What should I do? And you're surrendered to that such a personality, and you're trusting they're going to give me something better than what I can conceive of myself in my own puny understanding of reality. And you'll see, actually, it's so freeing. Oh my God. You don't want all these responsibilities. Look at all the burden you have already in your life. What is the burden? You're trying to be the controller, and then you're having to suffer the results of your own activities. Yes? This is what your life has been up to this point. All right, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to hope for the best result. But we never get we're not omniscient. We're not all-knowing beings. So the results we carve for ourselves, they always have some, you could say, side effect that you weren't thinking that was going to be there. And just like, oh, damn, I didn't know that was going to happen. I wouldn't have done this if I knew that was going to happen. Yes? That's happened before? Yes. Why? Because we're not surrendered to one. We don't know what should be done. So we're just acting whimsically. Like, we're like someone trying to hit a target but shooting in the dark with our eyes closed. We have no idea how to hit the target. We can't see anything. We're in ignorance. So this all has to be known. What should I hear? What should I chant? What should I remember? How should I worship? And what should I not do? And if this isn't in your line of questioning, if this knowledge isn't studied, like if you don't know, like Upadeshamrita, where all these things are mentioned, right? Vacho vegam anasakroda vegam, jiva vegam ururo pasla vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta diraha sarvam apimam pratibim sashishya. The urge to speak, the urge of the mind, and the urge towards anger. And if we don't know, we have to control the tongue, control the belly, control the genitals. And if we don't, realize that this is what a wise person does. If we don't, what is the next verse? Atyahara prayasascha prajalponiya. If we don't know that we shouldn't try to overconsume things in this world, whether it be food, whether it even be material knowledge or material wealth, prayasas, if we don't know we shouldn't over-endeavor in this world for material objectives. Prajalpa, if we don't know we shouldn't talk about mundane, things that aren't of this subject matter, higher subject matter. Niyamagra, if we don't know that these are the highest parts of Scripture and any other part of Scripture should never be prioritized over this, and what's to speak of neglecting the Scriptures? If we don't know this, we're going to do so many things we should not do, right? Shadbir, Bhaktir, Vinashyati. These 6 things, they kill Bhakti. If we don't know what is going, and then and then on the other side, Utsahan Nishchaya Derya Tat Tat Karma Pravartana. Sangatyagat Sato Vrite. I skipped things. Niyamagraha. Then is Jana Sangas. If we hang out with worldly people, And that can include relatives. If we associate with those who are worldly and who have all these worldly considerations, Janasangas Chaloli, and we're greedy for all of these worldly things, and if we're not greedy for pure devotee association, any other greed that we have is like worldly things. If we're greedy and eager for this arrangement to be like this and this things, actually these things all destroy bhakti. Shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. This is what will destroy your bhakti. And if on the other side, if we don't know what we should do, what should we hear, chant, remember, and how should we worship? Utsahan nishchaya derya, right? If we don't know that we need to approach this with enthusiasm, with determination, and derya, being patient, understanding, okay, this is a process, it's going to take time. I'm going to just, here's how I can make a little advancement every day. I'm going to do my sadhana and take under guidance of devotees and the most elevated Vaishnavas I know and I can find. Tat karma pravartana. If I don't know, that's what should we hear, chant, remember, worship? What are all the karmas or activities of devotees? The 64 limbs of devotion and nectar of devotion you're reading. You get to that part yet? No. If we don't know all these things, then how can we, make advancement? And then Sangha Tyagat. If we don't know to reject materialistic association, if we don't learn how to reject unfavorable association from our life, Sato Vrite, and we don't learn what are the activities, the vrats, the etiquettes and the activity of the acharyas, of the sages, the sadhus, Sato. If we don't understand these things, Shadbir, Bhakti, Prasiddhiti. These 6 things will increase bhakti. Then how can we increase bhakti if we don't know the activities to increase bhakti? Yes? Do we all come to that conclusion that increasing bhakti is actually in your best interest? Right? This is the Shastra. Bhagavad Gita, it's promoting. We trust Bhagavad Gita. There's no other consideration. Sarva dharman parityaja, right? This is like the main instruction. Abandon all other dharmas. Sarva dharman parityaja. Mam ekam sharanam. To me only take shelter. Sharanam vraja. In Vraj. Vraja he's saying, in that verse. Aham tvam sarva papibhyo. All the sins you think you're going to get, all of the bad results you're going to get. Well, if I neglect my family duties, if I neglect my job duties, if I neglect this. He says, aham tvam, I take that. Moksha yishyami masuchaha. You'll be freed from all this. Masuchaha. Do not lament. Do not worry. But do we have faith, actually? Do we believe in Bhagavad Gita? Do we believe in Krishna? If we do, then we'll act differently. Right? If we really have faith, we'll act differently. We won't not that, okay, now Parth, you're ready to surrender to Krishna, so stay here at the temple and clean the temple today, don't go to class. That's not a good, because you actually need to maintain your working duties, to maintain your life in bhakti. But that should be why you're maintaining your life. That should be why you're doing all your work duties. So I can keep increasing my bhakti. Same with Divyanshu and Tanu. It's not that saying, yes, don't put any more applications, don't try to find a job, don't do anything. Actually, right now, you're at both at a junction where if you don't somehow get some opportunity here, then, going back to India, bhakti will be very difficult to maintain in that environment. It'll be very difficult. Maybe the family life, there's maybe some opportunity. I'm sure your families are much more favorable to it than ours. But still, family life is very difficult. People usually have worldly considerations, almost certainly. It's very rare that, there's a pure devotee family. It's very rare. So this is, these things are... it's possible. So you should do everything in your power. And you've done actually everything. You've been doing everything in your power. But now you need Krishna's reciprocation. But why should you be doing it? Not for material enjoyment. Not so you have some good material situation or the material situation you want. It should be so that you can increase your bhakti. So I'm still in a good opportunity to increase my bhakti. I want a job that's going to put me in a good location or a good situation so I can continue bhakti. These are higher considerations. What are actual considerations may not reach the standard. But this is what we should consider. How can I be in a situation to increase my bhakti? How do you increase bhakti? How can I be in such good association, saintly association? What's the best I can get with my current situation? Right? Mukunda, you have just due to the nature with your kids, you have like a certain legal duty. And guess what? If you get charged and fined and go to jail, it'll be a huge hindrance on your bhakti. So, right? So you have to maintain those duties. So then, but your consideration should be, what can I do in whatever legal framework I have to balance? And you guys also have legal framework with the government being Indian, technically of the immigration, right? You guys have to balance legal framework. How can I balance the legal framework so that my bhakti can be increased? This should be the consideration, actually, when we reach a certain platform. And then when that becomes your eagerness, Krishna will send you the mercy. And in the form of the spiritual master. He'll send you the mercy. But, I mean, you guys have already, Mukunda and Parth, you have, connection to spiritual master. Even Divyanshu and Tanu, you also have connection, to devotees, and you have the same connections we have. We're really happy to introduce you and like this. So, these are what we should consider. But it's taken Parakit to be on the verge of death to know exactly what he wants to hear, what one should hear. But he is saying, what are the duties for all persons in all time? Because it's the same, actually. You don't have to wait for death to actually consider all these things. Death is just, it's an obvious scenario where you should consider these things. But actually, we're all on the verge of death. That's what Maharaj Parakit was saying. The common men in this world acting, all on the verge of death. So these are the duties now we should immediately. Bhakti Siddhanta, last thing because we have to stop. This is too long. But the Bhakti Siddhanta, he used to give classes on Bhagavad Gita, and one time Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, I gave you a book of his, right, recently. And Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, they attended a lecture, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was giving a class on Labdva sudurlabam idam bahusambhavante manusyamartadam anitya apihadiraha tornam yateta napated anumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya kalusarvatasya. You may have heard this verse. If you haven't heard that actual verse, you definitely have heard the meaning, or the prose explanation, because Prabhupada chanted it, or he referenced this verse many, many times over. But Labdva, you should obtain Sudurlabam. You've already obtained, Labdva, you've obtained Sudurlabam, that which is very rare, very difficult to attain. Labdva Sudurlabam, Labdva Sudurlabam idam bahusambhavante. And this which is very difficult to attain, bahu, after many sambhavante, finishing of bodies or transition through the sambhava, the material world, the ocean of samsara in the material world. So you've obtained something very difficult to obtain. What's that? Manushyam, a human body. Manushyam, Manusham Arthadam. Arthadam is which has great value. This is a very valuable thing that you have, this human body. Manusham Arthadam Anitya, but it's temporary. It's a temporary arrangement. Not like I've done it, I'm human, yes. No, if you don't act appropriately, and guess what? We're all experiencing. Any of you getting gray hairs? Yes, that means your body is dying. It means you're on the verge of death, actually. It's anitya, it's temporary. Anitya, manushamartadam anitya, apiha diraha. So here in this world, diraha, the wise. What do the wise do? Tornam yateta, they should immediately act. Immediately. Not wait later in life, after I retire. Tornam yateta, immediately act. Napated, as long as they've not fallen down, anumrityu yavan, being subject to death. So as long as your body has not fallen, ready for dying, you should immediately act. And then nishrayasaya, what? For ultimate perfection. What is the ultimate perfection that the saints, sages, and scriptures are? Why? Vishaya kalu sarvatasya. Because sense gratification, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, that means getting a good family situation, a good wife situation, a good job situation, making the kids happy, all these things. Vishaya kalu sarvatasya. That arises in sarvata, in every species. In any species. In insects, they have family life. In insects, they have job life. And, like the worker bee, the worker bees, they have a career. I gotta get, and they have a certain wealth, they have a certain amount of honey they collect and things like that. We think it's silly, but, the great devotees and sages thinks it's silly that we're collecting little papers and then we get our little houses and, it's silly actually. It's a silly, why? Because nishrayasaya is the point of life. The ultimate perfection of communion in yoga with God. This is much, much better than any type of temporary thing that you have to, will disappear in some years. So when Prabhupada and Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, they heard this very powerful class of Bhakti Siddhanta, they were both in householder life at the time. And they both approached him, how can I, what should we do? I don't feel comfortable just giving up everything all at once and things. Bhakti Siddhanta told him, Taranami and Teta, you should immediately endeavor. That doesn't mean immediately renounce. But you should immediately endeavor towards Nishrayasaya. How can you situate things so that you can give more to this part of your life? Because right now, right, with your legal framework, how much time can you really give? Only so much time. Krishna's helping, I'm seeing, as Parth is, specific going through this, but he's so much demand. We see Parth out working all day, right? Mukundi also, but what can you do with the time you do have to make endeavors for Nishrayasaya in your life? And by hearing that, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, it caused him to leave his family completely. But Srila Prabhupada, it actually caused him to start the process of detaching, and it took some way more years for him. But when Srila Prabhupada left, that was the beginning of him really making those endeavors. So similarly, we have to, make these endeavors. Why? Because we're on the verge of death, actually. There's whether it's 1 year or 1 minute or 100 years, we're all sitting here on the verge of death. And we should immediately make endeavors, as told by Krishna, the intelligent, and it's in our best interest to act in this way. So, he's saying, please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and what he should not do. Please explain all this to me. And if you continue with your study of Bhagavatam and you continue hearing from pure devotees, you'll know exactly what to do, and you'll be guided. They'll tell you exactly what to do, and you do that, and your life will be in perfection. But if you continue trying to be what's called having bhog vritti, or the enjoying spirit, and trying to impose your own desires on life, you will keep suffering the heavy results of your own karma, because there are results to all of our actions. But this activity is free from karma. You don't have to suffer. Krishna will take the results. If you do something for the service of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, even if it's sinful, Krishna will take that result. If it's sincere, at least if your intention is sincere, right? We saw this yesterday. Sugriva, he locked Bali in the cave, and he took his wife, but it was because the intention was pure. Even though he made a mistake, he didn't get, even though he got some reaction from Bali, Ram ultimately had no business punishing him and took his side. But Vali, even though he was mistreated, there was a mistake was made against him. His wife was stolen and everything. But because he acted adharmically, he acted in revenge, stole the wife, and acted on his own whims, then he has turned his back to Dharma, and meaning he turned his back to Ram, and Ram killed him. Right? We talked about this yesterday. So the activities are almost the same, both stealing wives, both like things like this. But because the intention was different, and one was done out of injunction of the scripture and proper duty, and one was done out of the whims of the other, the Lord, he favored the one who done it out of proper duty. And he took whatever sinful reactions away and made Sugriva king, and everything was there like that. So you have to see in your own life. Give up your own kingdom. Give up your kingdom. You're not the king. You're not the enjoyer. Just give it to Guru. Give it to Vaishnavas. Give it to the Supreme Lord in the scriptures. And if you do that, you don't have to worry about the result. You're acting perfectly. This is Nishrayasaya. You've surrendered your own being the doer. Right? Because it says in Bhagavad Gita, we're not the doer. We should know that. We're not the doer. Why? Krishna is doer. Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava, they can act on my behalf. I'm just here to serve them. And if you do it, just see. Just see what happens. Okay. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So sorry it was extra long today, but inspiring points were made. So please forgive me if I pinched. I'm not trying to pinch anybody. And please forgive any offenses or mistakes I may have made, because I'm far from perfect in this service.